How's everybody doing? How'd you guys like that intro? That intro was provided by Chris from The Aficionados. Definitely a very cool guy. His link is down below. Does DVD updates and reviews and things like that. Out and abouts as well. He whipped up that animated intro really quick and I think it turned out great. I hope you guys liked it as well. Definitely let me know what you think of it. I recently went back to Blockbuster and picked up a bunch of movies. They were all $1 DVDs. They still had some decent ones left, so I had to pick a bunch up, and definitely excited for this because there's some ones in here that I haven't seen before, and I ended up watching a few of them already, and some of them I really enjoyed. And there's a bunch of other ones that I haven't seen yet, so if you've seen any of these movies, like always, definitely let me know what you think of them. First up is Away We Go with John Krasinski from The Office, Maya Rudolph from SNL, Jeff Daniels, Catherine O'Hara, and Maggie Gyllenhaal is also in this. It's basically about a couple of John Krasinski and Maya Rudolph. They're pregnant and they're getting ready to have a kid, and they're trying to find out where they want to raise their family, and they're going all across the country and up to Canada as well, and they're visiting friends and family, and they're trying to see where they want to raise their family, and it's basically a self-discovery. It's a really sweet, quirky kind of film, kind of has an indie vibe to it, and I watched some of the special features. I guess on the set they went all green, so that was pretty cool as well, trying to do their part for the environment. And I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was very heartwarming, and it was a feel-good family movie. Kind of an adult family movie though. It definitely had some sad moments as well, but overall it's a really good adult family feel-good kind of movie. Next up is Rainn Wilson, also from The Office, Dwight, and it has Christina Applegate in it as well, and I really like Christina Applegate. She'll always be Kelly Bundy to me, but I don't know, she just seems really fun, and her personality really shines through in a lot of the roles that she's in. Basically, the movie's about Rainn Wilson, who's a drummer, and he was a drummer for a rock band that was popular, and right before they hit their pinnacle, they kick him out of the band, and they become huge, one of the biggest bands in the world. And then years and years later, I think it was his little cousin is starting a band, and they need him to help them out, and he becomes the drummer, and it all comes full circle, essentially. And honestly, I thought this was a very fun movie. For $1, I figured why not give it a shot. I thought it was going to be kind of stupid, maybe, but I was hoping for some good humor, and I was impressed. I liked it. It turned out to be much better than I was expecting. And next up, Sorority Row, the remake from the original House of Sorority Row. The original House on Sorority Row from 1983 is one of my all-time favorite slasher movies. If you haven't seen it and you like old school slashers, definitely check that one out. But this remake, I wasn't expecting too much. All the remakes usually of horror movies these days are all kind of like flashy, modernized, glitzy, and glamour. And most of them just seem a little too glamorous for me. But this one, I'll be honest, I was surprised by it. I enjoyed it. It was funny, and the dialogue was really humorous. And the one girl here who played like the bitchy girl, she was awesome as the bitchy girl. You just hated her. She played her role perfectly, and again, her dialogue especially was hilarious. And of course, this stars Carrie Fisher in it as the house mother. But I tell you what, I ended up enjoying it. Obviously, it's not as great as the original, but it's fun. And for $1, you can't beat that. Next up is The Dying Breed, After Dark Horrorfest, Series 3, 8 Films to Die For. This is an Australian horror film. It's about a group that are looking for a rare tiger, and they end up going into this town that used to be a colony for the Cavemen, who was a cannibal. From there, you can see what happens. It was an okay movie. It started out decently, and it kind of fell apart towards the end for me personally. There were definitely some cliche moments, some things that you could tell were going to happen, which did. I wouldn't go say run out and check this one out. This one was about average for me. And when people talk about Australian horror, they always talk about Wolf Creek. And for me, I enjoyed Storm Warning and Road Games more than Wolf Creek for Australian horror movies. So definitely check out Storm Warning and Road Games. If you guys know of any other Australian horror movies that you'd recommend to me, definitely let me know. Next up is Naked Gun 2.5, The Smell of Fear with Leslie Nielsen, Priscilla Presley, and O.J. Simpson, The Juice. Now, I love these Naked Gun series movies back in the day. I haven't seen them in years. So I was definitely happy to see this one there for $1. Figured why not? Relive some childhood moments right there. Nostalgia factor. There's the ghost scene right there. Love Leslie Nielsen. May he rest in peace. I'm sure he's making everybody up in heaven laugh. Now, the rest of these movies are ones that I have not seen before, so definitely let me know if you've seen them and what you think of them. Next up is The Great Buck Howard. I guess it's basically about a mentalist, and he goes on the road and does all kinds of tricks and stuff like that. And it stars John Malkovich, Colin Hanks, which is Tom Hanks' son, Emily Blunt, Stephen Zahn, and Tom Hanks is in it as well. There he is right down there. Don't know too much about it, but I enjoyed Tom Hanks. And I like Colin Hanks as well, and of course John Malkovich, very underrated actor, great actor. And I do like Stephen Zahn as well. Never really even heard of this movie before, but for $1 and a great cast, why not? Next up is Leaves of Grass, starring Edward Norton, Susan Sarandon, Richard Dreyfuss, and Kerry Russell. From what I read from the description, it's basically a crime drama comedy movie. Drugs, murder, and brotherly love. And of course they have the Walt Whitman title right there, so I'm assuming there's some kind of philosophy in this as well. Some existentialism. But again, I like the cast, and it looks kind of interesting, and it looks kind of funny, honestly. And next up is a 1981 movie called Caveman. And I basically bought this again for the cast. Dennis Quaid, Shelley Long, and Ringo Star. Ringo Star from the Beatles. It kind of looks like that Jack Black, Michael Cera movie, Year One, which I didn't see, but I heard negative things about. This looks kind of like that kind of idea, where they're back in the prehistoric times, the Stone Age. But basically, it looks like a fun time. It looks humorous. I love 80s movies, so. And again, the cast, why not? $1, can't beat that price. And next up is Cold Soul, starring Paul Giamatti and Emily Watson. I love Paul Giamatti as an actor. I haven't really heard of this movie. From what I read in the back, it sounds a little weird and quirky, kind of like a dark comedy kind of movie, it seems like, where basically seems like he's depressed and he sells his soul to a doctor, or has a doctor take his soul out, and then he wants his soul back. It sounds a little pretentious, but I don't know. Maybe it'll be quirky, fun, kind of dark comedy movie. I'm hoping so. And again, I like Paul Giamatti. Next up is Grimm Love from Fangoria's Fright Night series. And from what I read in the description in the back, it's basically about the Cannibal case over in Germany. Everybody knows that case, and everybody knows the movie Cannibal as well. Crazy movie, crazy story. Basically somebody allowed somebody else to eat them. Crazy. Mental instability, basically. Basically, Kerry Russell is a criminal psychology student, and she's studying the case, and she gets kind of obsessed about it, and then she delves into it and finds out some facts, and she gets wrapped into the whole thing, and crazy things happen, and it looked kind of dark and gritty, and that's kind of why I picked it up. I don't think Kerry Russell is exactly a fantastic actress. She was really popular on that Felicity show a while back, but I've seen some of her other movies, and I wasn't really impressed, but I do think she's attractive, and I'm hoping it'll be a decent horror movie. Haven't heard much about it, but for $1, why not? Cheaper than renting it. So there you go, those are my pickups. If you've seen any of these movies, definitely let me know what you think of it, and let me know what you think of the animated intro from Chris from the Aficionados. Definitely go check out his channel. Very cool guy, does DVD updates, movie reviews, things like that, out and abouts as well. Link down below, and I hope everybody's doing well. Take care.